Master of Ceremony, the honored guests, namely Dr. Vincent on my right, Dr. Griffith, and Captain Gouveia sitting at table number 2. The President and the membership of the National Service Association of North America, Inc., friends of various fraternities, ladies and gentlemen. This evening I am reminded of a poem by H.W. Longfellow, the last verse, which says, "Heights of great men reached and kept, who were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling onwards through the night." I also remember the chorus of a very old patriotic song, which we all know very well, and which we all made a joke of. The chorus is, "Onward, upward, may we ever go, day by day in strength and beauty grow, till at length we each of us may show what Guyana sons and daughters can be." Tonight I am very privileged. Standing next to me is the proud son of Linden, a bauxite town in Georgetown, in Guyana. He started his career as a cricketer, and I think his penchant was in cricket. He rose, he excelled, and attained the level of opening batsman with the Guyana cricket team. But unfortunately, an accident preventing him from pursuing this career. However, whether it was the influence of the mining town or other interests, he turned to academics, and he is the holder of a BSc degree, 2 masters, and subsequently a PhD, all in the various engineering fields. I would not rely on my memory, but if you give me 1 minute, I'll read the position he now holds. Just about 5 years ago, he was sworn in as a member of the Senior Executive Service Corps of the United States government. Officials in that corps are the highest level career professionals running the day-to-day operations of the US government and are equivalent to the generals in the army. And he, Dr. Adams, has a very impressive, attractive, and intelligent curriculum vitae. The details are which are available in the journals that we have. But for his current position, he is the site manager for the $8 billion cleanup of one of the nation's largest nuclear weapons complexes located in Portsmouth, Ohio. His site also has the national security mission of developing the next generation of uranium enrichment technologies, plus the conversion of the cleanup site to an industrial complex. Before going to Ohio, he managed the $1.7 billion stimulus project at one of the nation's largest cleanup sites, covering more than 750 square miles, and I can go on. So Dr. Adams, besides his academic and professional achievements, there are other attributes to his life. A very good example of man's humanity to man. He has not forgotten where he has come from, and he has not forgotten the needs of the people of his native heat. And as such, he has an unsurpassable generosity that takes him to Guyana so often, where he goes to Linden and assists the needy children in a number of ways. An affable personality and a very simple but not simplistic person. He stands just like the general. And Dr. Adams, on behalf of President Desmond Roberts and the executive and entire membership of the National Service Association, we are very proud of your achievements. You have put us on the map, and in recognition of our admiration and respect for you, it's my privilege to present this as a token. We hope you accept it in the same spirit as it's intended, and we would like to wish you success in everything you do, and keep the golden arrowhead flying. Thank you.
Thank you. I was looking for an agent, so stand by. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me wish my little niece there happy birthday. She's the kind of kid that every mother would hope to have. But let me say, this here is indeed a great honor for me to obtain this distinguished award here tonight. But you know, I know that people would read my resume and hear all of my accomplishments, and they think, well, you know, he must be somebody special, or he was born for this or something of the sort. And I guess I am the only one who knows what the truth is. And the truth is it's so far from the truth. You see, I stand here and you know, when I get these awards and accolades, I receive them with mixed emotions sometimes, because I'm not the one who really should deserve these accolades. It's the folks who made me what I am. And the folks that I'm speaking of are the people from this little village called Christianborg. You hear about Linden. But for those of you who know what Linden is, it's divided by a river. On the west side, it's Wisma and Christianborg, and on the east side, it's Mackenzie. And I lived in the Christianborg, which was the ghetto of the ghetto. The only thing that was really of any value there is the cemetery. And so I grew up in the alleys of Christianborg, and nothing was expected, but it was because of that village, because of teachers that I was fortunate to come, like a young teacher by the name of Cheryl Campbell, who came into my life at a very young age. He taught me everything: to play cricket, table tennis, but every night we had to study, or I can't play cricket and table tennis, or he even taught me how to go tackle girls, and I failed miserably as a player. But a teacher by the name of Hector Paris, who I remember he benched me, and you know what a benching is. He benched me for bringing third place in class. Of course, I never brought third place again. It was the famous cricketer Basil Butcher, who became a mentor in my life and almost my second father. And I remember when I was 19 years old and already playing on the national cricket team, me, Kyle Sharan, and Lawrence Rowe, for those of you who are old enough, the three of us were the three upcoming superstars to make the West Indies team. I got into an automobile accident. And I looked at Kali and Alvin got into the team, you know, and I was sitting on the sideline, and the doctor told me I couldn't play for at least a year. And I thought my life had just evaporated in front of me. As a matter of fact, the same year I was supposed to go sign a professional league contract in England. And he took me aside and he said, "Son, let me tell you, forget about cricket." He said, "I know that you've tasted some fame, but cricket is only going to last until you were 30 years old, and then they're going to be looking for the next Vincent Adams to surround himself with." He picked up the phone and he called the dean of the University of Guyana in the engineering department, a guy by the name of Dr. Cloughey. And this was in August, and school is opening in September, and the rest is history. I got a special privilege. I got a pass because he started applying to get into the university since, I guess it's in April. I did not do anything of that because that was never part of what I wanted to be. It was because of that. But last and most importantly, it was my mother, who was really, really my inspiration. She couldn't read or write, but she was my rock of Gibraltar. And I knew it from a very young age. And it just lit a fire in me. And I did everything to make sure that she was living her life through me. And, you know, but she was always there. She gave me everything that I wanted. She was my alarm clock in the morning when I got up and did homework, or I've got to go train. And she had every reason to be bitter. It was not by her fault that she did not go to school. She was adopted and was never sent to school. And she never spoke of it. She had every reason to be bitter, but you know what? She turned that energy into positive energy. We grew up very poor, and I never knew it because of the love that she and my dad showed. We had a one-bedroom home in Christianborg. And when I gave the eulogy, which was the very first time I spoke about this, when I gave the eulogy, I counted. We had at least 23 people who stayed in that same house at one time or the other. So she was really, really my inspiration. So those are the people who really deserve credit for, you know, when I say, you know, I remember last year, as my 2 years ago, I was in Kazakhstan, and I was the chairman of an international conference. And I was sitting there, we had over 50 countries, and I was sitting there on the stage, and I had to pinch myself. I couldn't believe it, and I went into this daze thinking, here's this little boy from Christianborg, and you know, he's in big international forum, highly recognized, and then I started remembering all those people who brought me there. Those are the ones, not me. I take these awards, you know, I'm feeling very humble, of course, and with great appreciation. But I take these awards to give every little kid the inspiration and belief that if I can do it, they can do it. Anything is possible. I take these awards to speak to all of the adults here in this room and beyond, to let them do whatever they can to make sure that no child should be denied an education or opportunity because of lack of means. I'm a living example of that. As I speak before you here tonight, again, I'm going to look back, hopefully many years from now, 5, 10 years from now, and I'm going to look at my life and gauge it and measure it. And if I've done just a small fraction of what those folks had done for me and others to bring us where we are today, then I'll say that I would have deserved this and the other awards that I've received. In the meantime, I'm going to accept this award on behalf of that village and the people that raised me to make my life successful. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, listening to Dr. Adams reminded me of the many, many, many individuals who have made speeches like that before. Individuals who do not credit themselves for what they've achieved, but could refer to a mother in particular, yours truly included. And I really got a little teary-eyed when he said that because I remembered my own mama. You know, how many of you had mothers who would die? You should give you that last cup of tea, that last piece of bread. She would give you, that's what my mother did, that's what she did. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is why we honor Dr. Adams tonight. But we're not done yet. This man, he got out there and he made it happen. Others did the same thing. And the person we honor next who did just that is Captain Gerry Gouveia. I'm tempted to say some words about that because I came back from the annual not too long ago and oh my God, but you know, I'm not going to say anything. Someone, Miss Genevieve Prince-Klein, is going to step forward. Miss Genevieve Prince-Klein, please come forward. And she's going to tell you all about Captain Gerry Gouveia. And as she does so, I want Captain Gerry Gouveia to come up here, stand so you can all feast your eyes on him as she speaks about him.
Mr. Master of Ceremonies, the President of Nasano, invited guests, it is with humility that I've been given this task to present to Mr. Gerry Gouveia a token of our appreciation from Nasana. But may I crave your indulgence at this point in time to do a synopsis why we have seen it necessary to honor Mr. Gerry Gouveia. Gerry, as we famously call him, or Captain Gouveia, started what was known as the New Guyana Man. The New Guyana Man in Guyana was when we all joined with our bags, leaving the city and traveling to different locations. I had a distinct privilege to being one of the trainee officers at the time, of which Gerry Gouveia, as we used to call him then, was one of the members. And that went back to 1975. If you look at us, please look at us remembering the years that have passed, and at the same time the joys that we have within the National Service, and thinking that I'm 39 and I think he's about 38 or 40. He can't be older than that. Captain Gouveia is an ardent aviator who started his career about 33 or those years ago. Remember, he's still 39 or 40. His experience of aviation is traversing the Guyana and also within the Caribbean. Gerry knows the hinterland of Guyana, like how you will know to navigate your, what must I say, iPod or your phones. Any hour of the day, any hour of the night, Gerry was one of the pilots who knows Guyana. And with that in mind, one of the things we can think about is some of us came here and be deck boys on this big liner. Gerry remained in Guyana and is a captain of that ship. So I would like you to give a round of applause to that. He was awarded a government scholarship and studied at Emory in Miami, the Aeronautical Institute in Miami. And from then on, he achieved so many awards. He went on to open his own agency, which is Roraima, and has so many establishments of which he's executive director for. And without every great man, there has got to be a woman. And he married someone who is within that field also. I know we're not honoring a female tonight, but all the females behind these men, they're honored, even though we have not put it down in writing. So let's give a round of applause to all the women who have made these men who they are. And like Dr. Adams rightfully said, his mom, starting from that first woman. Behind every great man, there is a woman. And I'll give you a joke too. The downfall of every man, there is still a woman. And I have one that I normally say. When God made Adam, the devil made Eve. And Christine Keelan, Mandy Rice Davis, and all those women who assisted in toppling different cabinets. But coming back to Captain Gerry Gouveia, he has formed Roraima Airways. He's the executive director there along with his wife. He has different security and executive launch services. He is also he's also appointed by the government of Barbados to be their honorary consul. And in Guyana, he's highly, highly recommended and has achieved so much. It will take so much to read his curriculum vitae. And tonight we're trying to do a very short program. So, I like that heckling, Betty. So I'm just going to give you just a little of the things that he's right now involved in. He's the director of the Guyana Tourism Authority, director of Central Housing and Planning Authority, a member of the Traffic Advisory in the Commission of Police, director of the Gaming Commission, member of the National Competitive Council chaired by the President, member of the Guyana Export Promotion Council, director of the Carnegie School of Home Economics, member of the Law and Order Commission, member of the High Level Policy Committee on Crime of Security in the Ministry of Home Affairs. He's a member of the Indigenous People Commission, My Family, director of the Privatization Board in the Ministry of Finance, chairman of the Prison Sentencing Management Board, among others. When you see his resume, you will understand why tonight we have chosen Gerry Gouveia, who was one of the first staff trainees in the Guyana National Service, the new Guyana man. And we can really say as a pioneer, as a staff, he was a real pioneer. He had lots of opportunities that he could have done other things, but he stayed in Guyana. And he is a very successful individual. And on those grounds, I would like to present to Captain Gouveia on behalf of the Guyana National Service and its members a token of the appreciation. And I'm very humbled to do this. Captain Gouveia, on behalf of the Guyana National Service. Try to get a mic. On behalf of the Guyana National Service of North America, it is a privilege and an honor to present to you the token of our appreciation for your service to humanity in Guyana, to your service in the private world as well as in the business world, and to always remember your roots. That was one of the most important things when the selection was being made to honor you by. So I give you this, that you will continue to do what you're doing, and next year we have a reunion to Guyana. We know we'll get your assistance there. Thank you very much.
I just want to say that I'm actually very, very, very honored, and you're very right. You know, I always say that my wife is, in fact, you know, she reminds me of that song of the wind beneath my wings, and actually she is really the power behind whatever happens with me in my life as I embarked on my business career. And so she is the power behind everything that happens. Dr. Adams, I want to say to you, you know, how honored I am to be standing here when you left this podium, because I saw you so many times in Guyana. I saw you in Linden when I myself was trying to invest and create employment in Linden. I saw you there so many times, and I never read your resume, but I always knew that you conducted yourself. You were such a regal gentleman, and I saw people respect you, and I saw the simple way in which you carry yourself, and you're really a man that we ought to be proud of. Ladies and gentlemen, could we give him a round of applause? I'm so very proud of you. I'm also honored, and I don't want to talk too much about Dr. Lloyd Griffith, but I'm so honored to be standing between two men of this gigantic magnitude, because I always believe that the greatest assets of Guyana is in the diaspora. And we see it here tonight. We see it, all of you here are Guyanese of tremendous value. And I can't tell you how honored I am that when I got the call from Colonel Desmond Roberts to say to me that I was selected as one of the 3 awardees here tonight, I could not believe the passion in which he spoke about this national service organization that still exists, because I don't know how many of you know my own passion for national service, and national service did in fact change my life. I went into national service much against the wishes of my family, who wanted me to go to Canada. I was doing my A-levels at Indian Education Trust College, and they wanted me to go to Canada, and then to be rebellious, I went into national service. And I met Colonel Roberts for the 2nd time there in my life, and I was telling him tonight he had no idea of the amount of the significant impact he had in my life throughout those years. But the national service changed my life. It really, really made me the new Guyana man. It allowed me to not only live the spirit of what Guyana is all about, the diversity. I grew up on a lodge housing scheme, and it didn't matter the color of our skin, our culture, whether we were Hindu or Muslim, we all lived there as one. But when I went into national service, there was a spirit in national service that was unprecedented. There was a spirit about not only my fellow Guyanese, but the grand magnitude of our country. And as I got old and I became a pilot, and I started to then navigate into the heart of the Pakurama Mountains and the Mazruni and Mabaruma and the savannas in Lethem, national service keep ringing in my head every day, and I'm so sad that there's no national service in Guyana today. And every day and every time I speak publicly, I really say to the government of Guyana, you made such a terrible mistake in this ban the national service. It's what the young people of Guyana needs. They need it to get them off the streets. They need them for them to start understanding what Guyana really means, to stand at attention when the national anthem is playing and be proud of it, and to say the pledge and be proud of it. And national service did that. I also want to say to you what the mind of a man could conceive and believe he could achieve. And every day of my life since I left national service, I believe that. And every day and every milestone that I move in my life, national service was always there, kicking me along, telling me that if I believe it, I could achieve it. Colonel Roberts, I want to say to you, and I mentioned a little bit about him tonight. When I was a young, I taught karate when I was in high school, and I took my class to Chumachimari. And that was the first time I met Colonel Roberts. He was better looking in those days and younger. But he was the officer in charge of the Young Brigade of National Academy. It was Young Youth Corps. It was a Youth Corps. And he was the commander of that area. And the first time I met him, and he conducted himself, and I saw him here tonight, and really and truly, I'm only kidding, there's no change in the man. He was so regal and so respectful, and he really reached out to us as young people, and I remembered him all the time. The day when I went into national service and I wanted to join as a pioneer, he saw me sitting there, and he came to me and said, "What are you doing in here?" And I said, "Well, I wanted to go to be a pioneer." He said, "No, you get over there and let them enroll you now as a trainee officer, trainee cadet." So I went in there, I did that training. That was amazing for me. And then national service is the reason I'm a pilot today. I got my scholarship through the Guyana National Service. And when I became a pilot, many years I would fly with Colonel Roberts. But one night, when I started going out with my fiance at the time, and she wanted to be a pilot, but every Old Year's night, she would get dressed to go to the parties, and every Old Year's night, this man Roberts would call me. And he would call me I don't know why he couldn't pick a different night to have a problem. And like 2 or 3 Old Year's night, the girl would get dressed in her clothes, we'd be ready to go to the Old Year's night party, and he would call, and I'd have to leave her home. And this one night, I remember he called, and she said, "You know what, wherever you're going, I'm going with you." And that is when I decided to marry her. Thank you very much.
I think Gerry really deserves. I can call him Gerry now because we already gave him the award. Oh, Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that as a member of the executive, when we sit down again, we'll be so pleased with ourselves because we made a decision to honor these gentlemen tonight. It's an education for those of us who never knew their achievements. But we're not finished yet. We have one more gentleman who also got out there and made things happen. This man, however, is an educator. And he understands very well that education is the key that unlocks the golden door of freedom. So much from me about Dr. Griffith. To present the award to Dr. Griffith, I will call on Mr. Courtney Paris. Where is he? So I will go to stand here so we can please to rise on him too. And Mr. Courtney Paris, please be honest.
brothers and sisters of the National Service, of the Joint Services, and of Guyana and abroad. I'm honored to introduce and present to you tonight Dr. Lloyd Griffith, a young man I admire tremendously. First met at the University of Guyana at a time when in the lives of many of us, we went to university to mate, date, and have fun. Lloyd set an example for us and for me, a model student who helped to remind us why we were there at Turkine campus. Today, Lloyd is happily married to his beautiful wife, Francine Waveney, and two beautiful offspring, Shakina and Lloyd Jr. Many countries stand out for what their sons and daughters achieve. The Jamaicans are very popular for their reggae and for their outstanding athletes. And we know of the Brazilians and their soccer, the Trinidadians and Sparrow and their calypso. Guyana, apart from its boxers, stand out for its sons and daughters of intellect, men of letters. Lloyd, like many of us, grew up reading Mittelholzer, E.R. Braffett, as we call him, they say Braithwaite today, Walter Rodney, Clive Thomas, these men of letters. And from his humble student at Allen High School and the University of Guyana, Lloyd rose through hard work, study, and dedication to become a scholar in his own right. Graduating from the University of Guyana with a Bachelor's of Political Science, a Master of Arts at Long Island University, PhD at Kinney Graduate School and Harvard Graduate School of Education. Rising to the ranks of Professor of Political Science, Provost and Senior Vice President of York College, formerly the Professor of Political Science and Associate Dean of Budget at the Florida International University. From youth leader, both local and national level, I believe in the YSM that Lloyd became a regional and international leader and an expert on socio-political studies, specializing in security, drugs, and crime, an advisor to the Canadian Foreign Ministry in these areas, has done extensive study in strategic assessment plans for Jamaica and Guyana for the U.S. Southern Command. Lloyd is an expert in a field in which he is well quoted and his opinion is well sought. From avid reader of books and a budding journalist in Guyana, I believe it was the Chronicle newspaper, Lloyd became an outstanding writer and publisher of 7 books and 50 articles. Largely on the topic of drugs, security, and crime. The books include Strategy and Security in the Caribbean, Democracy and Human Rights. He coined the term, popularly used today, geonarcotics, which describes the multiple dimensions of the drug problems around the world. He's quoted by every known newspaper, magazine in North America and the Caribbean on these topics in this field. He's done extensive lectures, extensive work to benefit and advance the studies in these areas. From a humble son and citizen of Guyana, neighbor of our own Lorraine, good friend of Eon, very humble servant he's risen to, and a community leader. Even as he rises among the giants of Guyana, he remains a simple person, a humble person who's never lost the common touch. He served as the past president of Caribbean Studies Association. He remains on the board of directors of Jamaica Center of Arts. He's still a member of the 100 Black Men of Long Island and very active in his own local church, St. George's Episcopal Church. In a couple of weeks, IVLAW will be delivering the 2011 Eric Williams Memorial Lecture in Florida. And only the best is called upon to do that. When idiots go to Jonestown and create one of the world's worst massacres, it demeans Guyana. When some wannabe terrorists plan to blow up JFK, it demeans so many Guyanese. When intellectual giants like Walter Rodney, Clive Thomas, and Lloyd Griffith write, publish, and schools the world on a corrosive problem eating away at our society, it makes every son and daughter of Guyana extremely proud. IVLAW will be proud. It is my honor, on your behalf, members of the National Service Association of North America, of everyone who served in the National Service, and of every Guyanese, to honor a proud son of Guyana today. IVLAW.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Just want to be sure that we're all here. Thank you, Courtney, for the very generous introduction. But I just want to have President Desmond Roberts know that I plan to file a discrimination complaint. How come Vincent and Gerry get beautiful women to introduce them? How come they get beautiful women to introduce them, and I get a wonderful guy called Courtney, a good friend? But nevertheless, give him a round of applause. I want to begin by congratulating Vincent and Gerry for also enabling the organization to help recognize and be proud of us collectively as a community in the diaspora. I don't know how many people in the audience have had a chance to go to York College. But next time you go, if you haven't got a chance to do so, look around the campus for one of the framed posters called Favorite Provost Coat. I've got a number of coats which I have used over the decades as inspiration for myself, and I've been using it for the last several years as inspiration for students and young faculty. Quotes from people who include Martin Luther King. There's an inspirational quote from Oprah. There is one from Confucius, but the one that I think is relevant to this evening's enterprise is one that I have from Albert Einstein. You may know that Einstein, when he left Germany, when he was forced to leave Germany, came to the United States, and for almost 32 years, he lived right across in New Jersey. He did his research at the Institute for Advanced Studies right in Princeton. And for almost 2 decades, while Einstein was in New Jersey, he had a simple sentence on a blackboard. I've captured that simple sentence as one of my inspirational quotes. I'd like to share it with you. What Einstein said for those many years on his blackboard in Princeton was the following: not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. I'll repeat it for you. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. Now, Einstein was a mathematician and a physicist, but he was not making that proposition in a mathematical sense. He was giving his students and fellow researchers and giving to the rest of the world, once that sentence was replicated and reproduced and circulated, a simple message that says, figure out what really counts, what really matters, even if the things that matter cannot be aggregated, cannot be counted. And for me, this evening is an episode of something that counts. It counts more than the number of people in the room who can be counted. It counts in the sense that this is an organization that has been able to persist in spite of trials and tribulations. It counts, and I was reading Desmond's message on page 2, in that the organization has figured out areas in the United States and back in Guyana where it wants to make a difference, where it wants to have itself count, where it wants to do things that matter, whether in finance, in education, and other things. And so I'd like to really congratulate the organization for doing things that count, even though we also can count the amount of money we spend to come here. We can count the number of people in the audience. What really matters is the enterprise of making a difference, doing something that counts. And so I, joining Vincent and Gerry, would like to thank the organization for recognizing me as perhaps someone who has done something that has counted, that has mattered. I knew about 2 decades ago that what I was doing mattered when I got an email from the University of Uppsala in Europe saying that the narcotics framework that I designed, they want to apply to a study of drugs in the Silk Roads, Azerbaijan, and those areas. I knew that what I was doing mattered when United States Congress comes and says, President Obama has a plan for security for the Caribbean. Come and testify to us about what really matters in that plan. And I know that something that I have been doing over the decades on national security and crime issues mattered, counts, when my wife and I were on vacation early this year in Jamaica, and I got an email from someone who I didn't know saying they were trying to get hold of a 1995 article I did in the United Nations Journal and were having difficulties getting it. Can I help them? I was in vacation, so I turned them over to my chief librarian. And I learned about a month after why that request was coming and where it was coming from. The request was coming from a university in Iran. And the request had to do with an investigation of a professor in Iran who had plagiarized something I wrote in 1995. He simply took it, translated it into Farsi, and pretended it was his. So the request was to get the original so that the investigation could proceed against this professor. It counts when somebody wants to plagiarize the work. So I want to thank the colleagues who have nominated me. But like Vincent and like Gerry, none of us who achieve anything in life achieve it on our own. I appreciate and I applaud my own family. She's tolerated me for 27 years, 4 months, 3 days, and 2 hours. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We have the wonderful kids, Shakeen, Aisha, and Agla Lamar. And we all know that in the context of mothers, it is not simply biological mothers who make a difference, who count. It is also sometimes sociological mothers, in the sense of godmothers. Sometimes biological mothers who in the sense of grandmothers. In my case, it was not a biological mother, it was a grandmother and a godmother. Actually, my second book was dedicated to mothers who fathered me. So for all the mothers, whether biological or sociological, thanks for helping to make us who we are. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you say after a talk like that? And I say a talk because it was a humbling yet incisive statement. Thank you, Aglo. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Now I want to ask everyone present, except the honorees and their spouses, to stand and let's give a final round of applause to these honorees, because I think they deserve it. In the parlance of my grandmother, these are our people, our way. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.